Imagine being able to delete all the eggs you don't want to hatch, like the diluted 5-kilometer eggs. Or imagine a joystick that you could use in-game when the weather outside was bad. If I was a betting man, I'd bet these things never come to the game. These features, along with a ton of others that we'll talk about today, are ones we will probably never see come to Pokémon GO. And I'll explain why. I would pay a disgusting amount of money for a shiny charm in Pokémon GO. It's an item that's in most Pokémon games, and you typically get it by completing your Pokédex. It's in the main series games. Why not in Pokémon GO? Imagine the amount of shinies, the raw amount of shinies you catch on a community day with a shiny charm. It would be literal madness, and I'm here for it. Well, it'll never happen. Why? Pokemon GO has some of the highest shiny rates out of all of the Pokemon games. With the 1 in 450 wild shiny Pokemon odds, the 1 in 20 legendary shiny rates, and 1 in 25 community day shiny rates, it's sort of really easy to get a shiny in this game, especially compared to the 1 in 5,000 base odds of the main series games. So if you think about it, we kind of have like a perma shiny charm in Pokemon GO. Also, the Pokédex can technically never be complete because Niantic slow releases each generation one Pokemon at a time. But don't get me wrong, if there was one in the shop, I'd buy it daily. You know what would be a really fun thing? Being able to use the Team Change medallion to change to Team Rocket. And once you do it, maybe you work to make more Shadow Pokemon in the game rather than Purified Pokemon. Imagine battling the leaders from Team Instinct, Mystic, and Valor to capture Purified Pokemon and then Shadowfy them. That would honestly create a super fun and interactive, like almost storyline into the game. And honestly, it would get a lot more people outside exploring. Wink wink Niantic. Definitely couldn't see them adding this feature though. It's too fun. Realistically, I'm not actually sure if people are allowed to even be part of Team Rocket in-game, because there's a bunch of like unspoken rules of the Pokemon universe that Niantic aren't even allowed to break. Which is what I think is blocking the next great update idea, having Ash, Misty, and Brock and other characters from the anime in Pokemon GO. This technically isn't super unrealistic because we have Jesse, James, and Giovanni, but if you're up to date on the most recent anime news, Ash and Pikachu have been retired from the Pokemon franchise. Yes, the Pokemon Company killed Ash. So this cool idea would technically never happen because it's just not in line with the current Pokemon universe. Which sucks because it would be so fun to have Ash and the others lead you through some sort of like dynamic storyline. Or maybe some sort of single-player mode. I and everyone else would love to see some sort of single-player mode added into Pokemon GO, which I guess is what the special research storylines are with Professor Willow, but like, come on. Those aren't stories, they're tasks. I don't feel invested at all in the stories from Professor Willow, mainly because there's not really a relatable or familiar personality to attach onto. But using the original cast from the anime, now that would be something different. And I don't see the single player mode being the same thing as the special Professor Willow research. There's different levels and levels of difficulty with varying different rewards, but the characters would walk you through all of it with some sort of fun storyline which unfolds in front of you. One that you could maybe influence the outcome of. That would be sick! And would never happen. Okay, let's revisit the first thing that we said in this video, which happens to be one of the most requested features ever. The ability to transfer eggs. Eggs in Pokemon GO are a pain for free-to-play players and more casual players because you can't delete them. Not only that, but in order to hatch them, you've got to walk. Like a lot. And not only that, but hatching them costs money. You're literally being asked to pay to walk. That is really unappealing for a lot of people, especially for eggs that someone just doesn't want to hatch, like the current 7-kilometer eggs. If I open a gift and forget that I had an empty egg slot open and I got a 7-kilometer egg, that sucks, because now I gotta walk off this trash egg. Transferring eggs would make a lot of sense for like every player ever. But eggs are annoying by design, and if they wanted players to be able to transfer them, they would have done that by now. You see, it costs money to hatch those eggs that you can't wait to get out of your egg inventory. It's a great financial incentive sorta to make players pay a little bit extra in order to get exactly what they want in game, which is why I doubt we'll ever see an egg transfer feature implemented. Speaking of eggs, we're all well aware that we only have one single free infinite incubator per person, which I guess is really nice to have, but like, you only get what? You could hold 12 eggs. And the only real time we've ever seen this expanded is during the Christmas updates, where you would get one single-use incubator once per day from spinning Pokestops, which again is cool and we should keep doing that. But listen, hitting level 50 is difficult in Pokemon GO. And once you get there, the rewards are kind of underwhelming. What would completely change the game and give a huge new incentive for grinding to level 50 would be giving a second free incubator at level 50. Players who've reached that point aren't just casuals who don't spend any money in game. They're usually grinders who invest a decent amount of time and money regularly into Pokemon GO. So it makes sense to reward these players for all their hard work and their spend with another free incubator. Please. Won't happen though. If it was gonna happen, it would have happened already. Okay, let's go way out right now. Imagine this. underground systems. In the main series Pokemon games, you can travel underground and into caves, and by doing that, discover certain types of different spawns. And in Minecraft, there's mine shafts and caves to explore, which is one of the most fun parts of the game, which mathematically means it's a good idea to implement that same concept into Pokemon GO. A lot of hands today. Only problem that would completely prevent this feature is, well, this game is based on the real world, and it's really only a 2D game. When you walk up a hill in real life, you don't do that in-game. So going underground wouldn't make sense either. Granted, there could be some sort of like cave entrance, portal type situations that once you entered, your map and your spawns were like in the underground. That would be cool, and I think there was a Pokemon GO clone that like did something similar back in the day. Draconia's Go, right? They had something like that, but I just couldn't see Niantic allocating developer time, resources, and funds to making something like this. Something I do think is way more realistic that we might actually see in-game would be a portable Pokestop. Maybe there's one in the shop, say, worth 500 Pokecoins, and you could purchase it and place it down anywhere you want and it would last an hour. Then you'd be able to spin that stop and lure it up, get more Pokemon spawns. It'd be great, and maybe even there's a possible limit on how many you could buy per day, like 1. This would be life-changing for an infinite amount of players, especially rural ones. But it would never be implemented for one main reason. It goes against the core values of the development company, Niantic. They're all about getting up, going out, and exploring. And if they just gave everybody the ability to knock out their daily grind from home, it would be kind of completely opposite of what they're trying to do with Pokemon GO. It's the same reason why they nerfed the COVID incense, tried to bring the Pokestop spin radius back to normal, and are now possibly looking at nerfing remote raids. They want people out and about, and anything that prevents that sadly probably won't make its way into the game. Here's a fun idea: a bird trap. It's no secret the daily incense Galarian birds are the single hardest things to catch in Pokemon GO. I do have 2 though, but most players have never caught one. Mainly because they always run away. Well, in one of the newest Pokemon games where the Galarian birds were first introduced, there were these items, like the bird trap, that players could use to help catch these elusive Pokemon. The bird trap would essentially prevent the Galarian bird from fleeing, so the player could follow it and try again to catch it. Something like this would be sick to see in Pokemon GO, even just to try to get a second chance at getting an excellent. But the rarity of these Pokemon is the main incentive for people to use their daily incense up to daily. To get up and go out and see what's out there and explore. See what's happening here? If these birds were too easy to catch, everybody would have them. Then nobody would feel incentivized to get up, go out, and use their daily incense. So we'll never see that in Pokemon GO. Chatting with your friends, especially in games that require a lot of coordination, is really important. Fundamental, some would call it. Well, in Pokemon GO, there are features that require a lot of coordination, like raids and leveling up your friendship with people. Being able to send a message to your in-game friends would be absolutely game-changing for these core features. And it would introduce a new fun social dynamic for people with international friends in-game. But this will also never happen for one major reason: campfire. If you've watched my videos, you will have seen this little weird icon on the top right of my gameplay screen. That is the campfire icon. Campfire is a new social application that Niantic is developing and integrating into all their games, Pokemon GO being the main one. Now, I do have access to it, and as do many other players, but not everyone does yet. In Campfire, you're able to chat with friends, coordinate raids, and all that helpful stuff. And honestly, it's integrated into Pokemon GO pretty nicely to where you're not pulled too far out of the app. So Campfire is where any level of like in-game chat will end up existing, but we will probably never see it natively implemented into Pokemon GO. Do you have any other cool feature ideas that you think would never be implemented into Pokemon GO? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and check out the other videos on the screen. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.